Computer, awesome, and we should be good to go. What's going on, guys? Hi, Team Fusion Kairos. Julia Thornhill coming to you live from San Diego, and I'm so excited for you to be on this training right now. Sorry we're getting started a little bit later. We didn't know that people couldn't join without started broadcasting this all of a sudden. So as everyone jumps on, we're going to max out here on Zoom. For those of you that are joining us with Zoom, welcome to this online Zoom. This is actually a six-figure series, Eric Worre's six-figure series in 7 weeks. So if you haven't listened to GoPro by Eric Worre, that's the first step. So we're going to go into a little bit more depth and in detail on this training. And this training is actually put together by Eric Worre and Casey Salger. He's been in the front of Success Magazine. And we're going to get into the nitty gritty of really how to invite, because it's one of the most important things when it comes to your business, that some people just have verbal diarrhea of the mouth, right? They just want to literally, talk too much. Sometimes less is more. And we're going to go into a little bit more advanced training at what the best and most effective way to invite is. So I actually did some of this training with my team out in San Diego on Saturday, and it was just incredible. The results that we got from it, all of the IBAs, income producing activities that came from that as well. As you guys raise your hand, hi, as you guys are joining, welcome. So if you guys are coming from us live from our Team Fusion Kairos page, go ahead and tag some of your team, because we're going to really share some incredible slides and some key pieces that have to do with, building your business. So I have Miss Green Diamond Heidi Stallard joining us any second now. She's going to be leading this, and obviously, if you guys don't know her and her husband, they have built an empire. And most of you guys know her story, but I owe a lot of my success to her and her husband for helping us launch different markets all across the world. For whether here, Florida, I just got a call for my team in DC that's growing right now, and I am just blown away by their leadership. So let me see if I can get Miss Stallard on here. Miss Stallard, can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Can you see and hear me okay?
Loud and clear. Love, take it away.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And first of all, guys, I just want to give it back to Jules, because she is just a tech genius. The fact that she's been able to just kind of set all of this up, I mean, I've been blown away. The fact that we can now do our Zooms on a Facebook Live and be able to share it with so many different people, I think is just absolutely incredible. And so I just really want to give it back to her, because I've been learning a lot. And as we were preparing for this Zoom, we actually, we were kind of doing some prep work to make sure everything was going to be running smoothly. And she had a call come in, and she's like, hey, hold on just a second. I have a three-way call come in. And I'm like, no problem. And I'm like over here, just like listening to her, taking pictures of her. And she just blows me away. I mean, she is just an incredibly hard worker. She is so knowledgeable about this business and about so many different facets. If you guys have never heard her train on social media or technology, you can obviously tell she's somebody that has it down. So I'm not going to take up too much time. It's now 9:11, and we said we're going to start at 9. I'm glad that we got some, I'm seeing more people roll in right now. I see our participant list going up. And then I know we have a lot of people joining us on Facebook Live. So I'm just going to dive right in. We're actually recording this. What I would do is right now, if you're able to, make sure that you're tagging your teams on the Facebook Live, so that if they're able to, they can hop on that. If not, we're going to record it so that everything is documented, and we're taking, an attendance of everybody that hops on. And so you guys we'll all know who's on here and who's being accounted for, so don't worry so much about that. But you guys, I'm just excited. We have really had some awesome feedback from this Zoom, or from this boot camp, excuse me. And it's exciting to see where just the direction of everybody is headed. They always say, like, you can't change the course of your life overnight, but you can change the direction. And I really feel like the people that have chosen to participate in this boot camp have really changed the direction of their business. And so, I'm excited to see where everybody's coming at. We've got about 7 weeks left till Las Vegas now. I can actually get you guys a number of days until till Vegas. And that's really ultimately what we're preparing for is, we're setting in, the little skills. We've got 59 days until Las Vegas. So it's coming quick. But really this boot camp is about starting you with the small skills, and it's going to build. It's, building blocks, excuse me, that you're going to build week by week until you get better at this business. And it's the essential and basic skills that you really need to become a 6 or 7 figure earner in network marketing. And I think that for everybody that's on this call, that's the goal, or or, at some point in time it will be, everybody, it doesn't matter if your financial goal is just to make an extra $200 a month or an extra $200,000 a month. We all have a financial goal here. And so in order to make those goals, we have to have some skill building. And so last week we actually covered how to find prospects, and we actually went over several different things. And so real quick, you guys, I'm actually going to share my screen. So let me pull this up for you. Let me X out of this. Perfect. Fantastic. So you guys should be able to see my screen now. But last week we actually went over, how to find prospects. We went over kind of how posers and amateurs and professionals do this business. And we know posers are the people that, they're just betting on luck. They're saying, okay, I have 3 or 5 people that I think would be good at this business, and I'm basing my entire business off of that. Amateurs go, okay, I have a list of about 100, and they may or may not have a written list, but they think that that list is the end all be all. And professionals know that you never stop adding to the list, and that you are constantly growing in this business. And I love, what we talked about Andy Andrews talks about at our last event was that, he talks about become somebody important within your community and, create those relationships, compete at a level where people don't know that you're competing. And that was just so profound to me, because in this business, it's all about creating relationships. So it doesn't matter if you started out this business and you just have a massive network of people. That's great. Of course, you can always build on that. But you could start out with this, in this business with 10, 20 friends, including family, and you can still become a 6, 7, 8-figure earner in this industry, because you're now learning the skills of how to become a people person, how to talk to people, how to relate with people. And so today we're actually going to go over inviting prospects on how to understand your product or opportunity. And so I'm actually going to pull this up for you guys. Let me see real quick. Show view options. Give me just 1 second while I pull it up. Okay, I may have to, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second so I can pull this up for you guys. And then there we go. Perfect. And bam. Oh, okay. That might not have worked, but we're going to try it again. There we go. Okay, you guys should be able to see this now. Just for connection's sake, I'm actually going to, well, we'll see how it goes. I don't want to have a bad connection. I may end up stopping my video so that you guys can focus, but this is the beginning of our bootcamp session too. And congratulations to everybody that's hopping on. I'm really excited. San Diego and Houston, you guys did a phenomenal job this weekend, packing out the markets. I know San Diego, you guys, sunny San Diego, you had an outdoor boot camp where everybody got around. You guys had canopies and lawn chairs. And Houston, you guys are packed out. I know you guys have a very big joined market of several different awesome leaders, the Host Sisters, Spencer and Wynn. I mean, everybody's just blowing up down there. And so if you're hopping on from one of those markets, or if you're from the Dallas market, because yesterday our boot camp fell on Father's Day, so we're doing it here. Congratulations. And so anyways, the first thing that you need to know about inviting prospects, you guys, is that it's the gateway skill. Because if you're not successful at getting people to take a look, you can pretty much guess what your MLM business is going to look like. And so that's what we're going to want to do, is that we want to be able to, we all know how to kind of talk to people, but we've maybe have talked to people quite a bit, but we need to get good at figuring out how to get people to actually take a look. And so that's the gateway skill. This is the #1 skill, and that's what we're going to go over today. So first of all, posers, who we talked about last week, they think that they have to have a great reputation, a huge influence with others for them to take a look at the opportunity. Give me just 1 second. I'm actually going to stop my video. There we go. And this is just not true. You don't have to have, these amazing, you don't have to be this special person that can have influence and have a great reputation. There are many people in this industry that have started out that have absolutely nothing going for them, but because of the skills that they've learned, they've been able to create a huge income for themselves and set themselves to be financially free. And so we obviously want to move from posers to amateurs as quickly as possible. Let me see. There we go. That's not true, obviously. So we want to move to amateurs as quickly as possible. They think, so here's what amateurs do. These are the people who we talked about, they kind of think they run out of a list, which we know now is not true, but they think of themselves like a hunter with a goal of bagging an elephant. And so they go around with their gun or their opportunity in hand, shooting at everything that moves. They don't really care about relationships. They don't really care about, how people are going to feel. And here's the thing about is if you go out trying to hunt people, they will run, because if somebody's coming after you, shooting at you with something, what's your first reaction? Run. And so what you need to understand about this business is that we're not hunters, we're farmers. We're gently planting seeds and cultivating those seeds, watering those seeds little bit by little bit until it begins to blossom into a seedling. And then we nurture it some more until the time is right. And then we expose it to the opportunity. So amateurs are the people that only care about getting that new recruit. They don't actually care about, maintaining that relationship with somebody or anything like that. They, everyone around them is going to feel hunted. We already kind of talked about this, and they will start to avoid you. And when you do get that one, they try to do and they will try to do the same thing because that's what you did to them, and they will fail and then quit. This business is, we always talk about, it's not about determination, it's about duplication. Of course, determination is an absolutely great thing to have, but you want to always set the right example. And so if you're coming at somebody and you're like, man, you got to do this, and you're hunting all these people, you might land one, but then you've taught them now to go out and be hunters as well. And when people maybe don't have the same reaction or maybe aren't willing to hunt as many people as you are, they quit. And so we want to move to become professionals as quickly as possible. That's what everybody's goal that's on this Zoom should be, is to become a professional network marketer. And so professionals think of themselves like farmers with the goal of cultivating a garden. They build relationships and friendships. That's kind of what I was talking about. You want to plant those seeds, and I'll tell you, in the very beginning of my journey, I actually wasn't the best recruiter, but I planted a lot of seeds. I didn't hit Jade within my first month. Surprising. I know some people seem to think that that's shocking, but it's really not. It's a fairly common story for a lot of the leaders in our team, is that I didn't hit, the first position, or the first, back then it was the first position in our company in the first month. But by the third month, I was able to hit a 6-figure position. And it was because when I got started in the beginning, I didn't chase after people hunting. Honestly, that wasn't my personality type, but this skill set, it worked very much to my advantage, and it benefited me a lot, because what I did was I let people know that I was super excited about something. I let them know that I would love to talk to them, maybe have coffee with them to talk about a new project I was working on. I started to care about people. Oh, you're not really loving your job, or, you're having financial struggles. And I started to build that companionship with people. And so through building trust with people, I was skillfully able to transfer the belief they had about, or, to transfer that belief. This says here, learn how to build trust with people, or professionals learn how to build trust with people they met and are able to skillfully transfer the belief they had about their product's opportunity. And so that's honestly what I did in the beginning. I wasn't the fastest out of the gate right away, but I was after just a couple of months, because I had planted those seeds and I cultivated those seeds. And so the goal isn't to immediately recruit prospects. Their initial objective is to educate prospects on what they have to offer and let the prospects decide if it's something that they want to do or not. Because we all want to think about things being our idea, of course, too. So professionals don't pitch their product or opportunity. Instead, when the timing is appropriate, they simply just invite people to do one of two things based upon the individual prospect's situation. The first thing they do is they invite them to attend some kind of event, or the second thing is that they invite them to review some kind of tool. And so now we're actually going to go over a couple of those things. So things in our business that would be considered events. And one thing that's not listed on here that we absolutely have to talk about is an event can be a video. One of our, our done for you videos that you can actually use from our YouTube channel, from our app, any other kind of third party video, you can actually still use that as an event. It can be a one-on-one meeting, a two-on-one meeting with another member of their team. It can be a 3-way conversation on the phone. It can be a small group presentation in their home, a home meeting, or a PBR, or a skincare party, or an online webinar, kind of like what we're doing right now. We do these home meetings online all the time. That's how San Diego and Houston have built a majority of their market. So if you're in an outside market, listen up. Utilize your upline to do online Zoom webinars. It is so incredibly powerful because it's a third-party source of validation. And when you can say, wow, I have a leader that's working in Houston, or I have a leader that's working in San Diego, or I have a leader that's working in Dallas, and they've become part of the mecca of where our team is formulated, and they've produced several six-figure earners, and they're actually going to hop on this Zoom this evening with us and teach us exactly how it is, and we're going to blow up this market just the same as they did. And this is how they did it in the beginning too, is they actually use this same format. It's all done for you. And so whatever they're going to do for me tonight is the exact same thing that they're willing to do for you to help us grow this market. And so for those of you that are in outside markets, 100% you need to make sure that you are utilizing your uplines in different markets. And so another thing is that you can do the local hotel meetings. If you're in one of our bigger markets like Houston, like San Diego, like Dallas, like Arlington, plug in. We have events all over. I know Nashville has them. We've got them in Florida. I mean, look on the events app and find out where, or contact your upline. And then, of course, the convention. So professionals understand that their personal interaction is a critical component when it comes to building trust. And so obviously we love to use these events because it's a personal interaction. We can kind of, especially if you're, having somebody come to like a home meeting or a home party or a hotel meeting or, some kind of, quarterly event, then you can actually, have them, tell them about kind of some of the leaders that are around or some of your teammates, and kind of edify them and introduce them and tell those people about your prospect that you've invited. Or if you're having an online Zoom, what you can do is be like, okay, the person that, da 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 da, and you can even request that this person gets on early or stays on late just to get a chance to meet your prospect. We do it all the time. So here's some tools that we've been talking about. Again, the tools for our business can be videos, kind of what we just talked about. It can be an event or a tool. CDs, DVDs, magazines, brochures, websites, mobile app, online presentations, and letting people sample the product and treat that as a tool. I always tell people, if you're timid to talk to people, pass out the product, follow up with people, and let the product go to work for you. It's incredible. Magazines. We have magazines that have, if you didn't know, you can actually purchase magazines in your back office, and everybody that's a diamond or higher is actually in those magazines. And so you can actually, I like to purchase those, and I like to have them out at my home meetings or my home parties. Those are great. I even carry one in my backpack when I travel, just to show people, hey, this is who I'm working with. Here's me and my husband. Here's a couple of the leaders that we've helped. Yada yada yada. Mobile apps, easy. You've probably shared Uber with somebody, or somebody shared Uber with you. Sharing our app is the exact same way. All of these tools are kind of self-explanatory. So there's no question that technology continues to evolve, offering more and more convenient ways to help prospects. But while technology allows us to get people quality information quickly, there's nothing like a physical tool. In a world of bits and bytes, in a network marketing world where it's important to build trust, a physical tool makes it real. So I love handing out brochures. I mean, you can buy 25 brochures for like $8. I love handing those out. I love handing out, just different things where, like I said, the magazines are great. So tools versus events. Of the two methods used to help educate the prospects, events are the most effective. Obviously, it's just a massive amount of social proof. You drive up, everybody's got their cars. You can introduce them to all of the successful people. You get to hear testimonies. There's just excitement. There's that kind of urgency that you feel at events, like, wow, I need to be a part of this, or wow, something really big is happening here. So that's why events are so important. And again, for those of you in an outside market, not in one of our big markets, that's even more the reason why you need to be utilizing your upline, whoever that is, on Zooms, is because we can still create that urgency in online events. So when you're not utilizing a team outside of your market, if you're not in a market already, that's an established market, that's why you have to use it. I can't say that enough, to be quite honest with you. There's a physical interaction from meeting with people, and that helps to build trust. And then education on the product and the financial opportunity, of course, too, because especially if you have somebody that's a dolphin, meeting with people is great. The only downside to an event is that they can be difficult to schedule and confirm, especially for a brand new person. If you don't have skills, it's fairly common to invite 20 people and only have 1 or 2 to show up. Let me repeat that. If you don't have skills, it's common to invite 20 people and only have 1 or 2 show up. And obviously that can be very discouraging. And luckily for you guys, we have lots of leaders, including myself on this Zoom, that can help you with that and can relate. So tools 1, for building a large and duplicatable organization, using a tool is usually the first step. And so that's something like a video or maybe a CD or maybe the app, and then you push them to an event like a hotel event or a home party or something like that, or a 2-on-1. Remember, your goal is just about educating and understanding. When you realize that you're not about hunting and that you're just about educating, not only is it more fun and has less pressure for you, but your prospects feel less pressure as well. It's a great way for people to become educated and hopefully excited in the middle of their busy lives. It's kind of that peaking moment, right? They may not have time to drive across town to meet with you, but they can watch an 11-minute video on the mobile app. So get everyone in your organization focused on a daily method of operation centered around inviting people to watch the video or some kind of video through the app. And then tools also allow for no distractions. Whereas, maybe inviting somebody to a home party or a hotel event, they're like, oh man, sorry, my kid got sick, or, I forgot to pick up the dry cleaning, or whatever excuse, or, hey, I'm just not feeling up to it after I got home from work and kind of settled in. A tool allows none of that. You can be like, okay, no worries. When do you have like 15 minutes? I'll just send you some info later on this evening. So much easier. Or it's so much easier after somebody's watched a video to go, oh, hey, well, you're interested. Well, what are you doing Tuesday? Because then they're already interested. They're much more likely to convert at coming to an event after that. So events are still important, but they're a second step after a person watches the video. Your organization will break out and you will be able to enjoy the experience of having a group that grows with or without you once you teach them how to use the tools. They grow from a few dozen to a few hundred, and then of course to a few thousand. So all you learned was how to successfully invite people to watching a video, and then follow up with an invitation to an event, and teach someone else to do the same thing. When I first got started, that's really all I knew how to do, was just teach people how to get onto a video. So here's what you don't want to do. Or here's what you won't do. As a professional, you're not going to be pitching people. So don't try to dazzle anybody with your world of wisdom or all of the things that you know, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's the bottom line. And here's the thing. We tell people all the time, stop trying to present the information yourself and get people in front of the proof. If you are your last point of contact for your prospect, you're selling your vision short because they're not able to see the bigger picture. So that approach will basically just feed your ego, but it'll steal from your bank account in the long run. You may be able to sustain it for a short period of time, but after a while it will start to crumble if you don't heed the warning that I'm giving you now. You have got to utilize the bigger vision and get people to the events, or get them in front of somebody that has proof, or somebody bigger than yourself, even if you already have proof. It's great that you do, but even as a diamond or a green diamond, I don't always just limit myself. I asked David Nieves for 3-way calls, or I pull in miles. I've even pulled up, downline business partners to be like, hey, can you talk to somebody? Or even sideline. I've done that a lot too. I'd never try to do this business on myself, because when I have my prospect only talk to me, then they're only seeing what I've given them. And people tend to trust third-party validation more. So don't focus on your ability to persuade people to join you. And it's not as fun when you're focused just on yourself. When you have somebody else to kind of throw the ball to and have them kind of do their magic, it's so much easier. So the formula for financial independence in MLM, your ability to get a large group of people to consistently do a few simple things over an extended period of time. Let me say that again. Your ability to get a large group of people to consistently do a few simple things over an extended period of time. When you can get that to happen, everything changes for the better. So 4 basic rules on the emotions of inviting. First of all, you guys, you have to be yourself. You have to, even when you're inviting, when we tell you to use these scripts, use the scripts, but be yourself. If you're somebody that's like, hey, what's up? What's going on? How you been? What you been up to? And you talk with a bunch of emojis and exclamation points and question marks before you ever really get into content with people, then talk like that first. Don't be like, hey, so-and-so, how's it going? Do you have a couple of minutes? Like, don't do that. Be yourself, and bring passion. People want to be like if you are somebody that normally talks in exclamation points and you're excited, add a couple of that's a tongue twister. You guys, extra exclamation points. Have strong posture. Don't worry if they're going to say no. Stand strong, because I think a lot of people, if you're like, hey, I've got this thing I'm really excited about. And, after hearing what you have going on with your job, I just think it'd be something you should look at. People are going to go, oh, yeah, okay. But if you're like, hey, I'm so excited about what I've been working on, and considering what you just told me about what's been going on with your job, why don't you take a look? Because I really think you need to. People are like, okay, yeah, absolutely. So, but most importantly, you have to emotionally detach yourself from the outcome. Go for the no's, ladies and gentlemen. Don't take it personally. It's so easy to do that in the very beginning of your journey here. But let me just tell you is that the people that you think will say yes will most likely say no. And the people that say no will most likely, or that you think will say no, will most likely say yes. And you just have to learn to treat this as a business, as if you were going into as like a corporate sales job. Obviously it's not that, but it's kind of the same mentality in a way, as you would just be hitting the numbers. You're like, okay, I just want to get out of here at 4:00 today, and I've got to get 10 people to buy this shampoo over the phone. You would just do it until you got it done. You wouldn't feel so emotionally attached. So don't try to look at this business the same exact way. So step 1, emotionally detach yourself from the outcome. This is extremely important. Remember, our goal is education and understanding. It's not about getting a new customer or signing a new distributor. Your goal, if you're just educating and understanding people, your job is to simply act as a consultant and give people the right amount of information and education so that you can guide them towards a goal that suits them for them. You're allowing the prospect to make the decision rather than you going out and going, man, I've got to sign up this person and trying to sign up everybody on the spot. Yes, that does happen, but not usually in the beginning. You have to just understand that you have got to get good at educating people first and understanding them. So if you disconnect your emotions from the outcome and just focus on education and understanding, everything gets more simple and a lot more fun to do. This sounds easy, but it can be difficult to do. So obviously we're not naive to that, but you really have to kind of let that soak in. All of us come into this business with the hope of recruiting some great people. It's hard to disconnect from those expectations. And of course, we still want to have them. But remember that we're not hunters. We're consultants offering suggestions on how people can live a better life. This is something where, when somebody walks into a tanning salon, they don't go, you need to buy $100 tanning membership. And you're like, that's not what I was in here to do. I'm going to turn right around because they just want to get me for the sale. No, instead they're like, hi, have you ever been here? Oh, what are you looking? Oh, spray tan. I'm just using this because it's easy for me to do, spray tan or bed tan. Okay. Are you starting out? Are you an experienced tanner? What's your budget, or what are you looking to spend? Okay. Are you needing to buy some lotion? Let's factor that into the price. Okay, well, I think starting out, you can do these beds for 15 minutes. And I think that you need this lotion for $55, and that will keep you within your budget this first month. And then as we roll over, you can increase using these specials, yada, yada, yada. And then they're like, yeah, you know what? That is the best package for me. You're absolutely right. And so now they don't feel like they got. Does that make sense? So if you focus on getting a customer or a new distributor, you'll constantly be disappointed and you'll find your prospects running away from you. But if you focus on education and understanding, you'll have fun and your prospects will enjoy the experience. Step 2, be yourself. Don't try to be somebody that you're not. If your friends know you as somebody that's goofy and fun, of course you still want to be goofy and fun. Of course you might want to still be professional at the same time, but be yourself. Don't be somebody that's like wild out and crazy, and then you go to like, acting like you have a tie on and you're like, well, let me just tell you about this. Because then they're like, okay, you're not yourself and this is not the person that I like. So many people become a different person when they start inviting, and people see right through that. They don't like people that are not genuine. It makes them uncomfortable, and it makes you and them feel icky. You don't feel confident. So just focus on being yourself, but be your best self, if that makes sense. Step 3, bring some passion. Enthusiasm is contagious. It is the most contagious of all emotions. So it's better to be overly excited than underexcited, because if you're overly excited, you'll scare 1 out of 10. But if you're not excited enough, you're going to scare 9 out of 10. Does that make sense? And it's okay to be a little bit fired up. So make sure that you're telling your face that. A lot of people, they're like, well, I'm excited. I'm like, you need to tell your face, because I do not believe you that you're excited right now. Smile, act pepped up, something, get focused, listen to some music that inspires you. That's why when we walk out on the stage, we have walkout songs. That's why when athletes run out onto the field or onto the court, they have walkout song because it inspires them, it pumps them up, gets them confident. If you're doing a phone call, smile when you're on the phone. People can hear a smile, believe it or not. And more importantly, I always tell people, wear something around the house that you feel confident in, or do something, if you just finished working out and you feel like you're balling out of control and feel super awesome, do your calls while you're in workout gear right after you just did it. So I assure you, your positive emotion will translate into better results. Law of attraction. So here's just a little of analogy. Obviously, if people were to have a choice between, what kind of friend they wanted to be around, are they going to be around somebody that's, sad and depressed all the time and, doesn't really want to do a whole lot and just kind of mopey and it's like, yeah, I've got this thing. No, absolutely not. They want to be friends with the Tigger. They want to be friends with the person that's, bouncing up and down, off the walls, excited, especially if you're somebody that's not typically an excitable person. They're going to want to be around you because they see that fire is caught within you. So my favorite quote when I first got started, and it still is to this day, is people will come from miles to watch you burn. And people always have to kind of like think about it. What does that even mean? If you are absolutely on fire, people are going to come from out of the woodworks to see you burn because they're attracted to that heat. They're attracted to that flame and they want to see what's happening. So you better get pumped up and be excited when you're inviting. So have strong posture. Watch professionals. They're bold, they're confident, they're strong. They, don't apologize. That just, people follow strength, not weakness. When you're like, oh, I'm sorry, do you have some time? Nobody wants that. Instead saying, yes, I know I've had a lot of jobs in my life, but I'm hoping that this will be a change. This will be the change I'm looking for. So don't apologize about who you've been or what you've done, or saying things like, yeah, I know it. I know I haven't really been successful, but this is my big dream. No, say, listen, I finally found a way for me to go get where I'm passionate, or to get where I want to go in life and I'm passionate about. Start saying, guess what? I'm sick and tired of this life I've led up until this point, and I've decided to take charge. I wouldn't bet against me because I'm serious. And I kid you not, when I first started in this business, I used to speak with that compassion or that conviction. People would be like, oh yeah, I remember working behind the bar and people just knew me as Heidi the bartender, until I got them in front of my upline proof. Then it was hard. And I would just speak with conviction and I'd be like, yeah, well, I would straight up tell them. I would always project my rank. I'd be like, well, by the end of this month, I'm going to make an extra $1,500 to $2,000 a month and I'm going to have a new car. And they'd be like, okay, yeah. And then I did it. And then I'd be like, well, in just a short period of time, I'm going to make 6 figures. And then I did it. But the people that heard me speak that, I said it so clear. Not only did it have some accountability for myself, but it made people really question the kind of person that they were talking to. Because instead of me being like, well, yeah, I know I've never done this, I was like, well, you know what? I haven't never done it, but I'm going to figure it out. And people were like, oh, dang, So do you feel the difference in that? Of course you do, and just know that you are somebody that, you know, you have the golden egg here, and you have to know this and you have to speak with that confidence and you have to speak with that conviction because everybody's looking for this golden egg. And sometimes when they see a goose, they're like, that's just a goose. But then they realize if you're like, no, this goose lays golden eggs, then it changes the whole thing. So invitation formula. This formula is designed to be used over the phone or face-to-face is what we're going to go over first. It's not meant to be used with texting, email, or any other communication tool. So this is just for on the phone or face-to-face. And it can work with your warm market prospects, someone or cold market prospects, someone you meet while just living your life. Somebody that maybe you run into at the grocery store, maybe you take your kids to the playground, something like that. There are 8 steps to a professional invitation. Remember, we're going to be professionals. That might sound complicated, but with a little practice, you'll find it's an easy skill to master. So if you are watching this, I would screenshot this, or if you're taking notes, I would do the same. Here's the formula. Step 1, you have to be in a hurry. People like busy people. They don't like somebody that doesn't have a lot going on. It's kind of like that attraction, give them a little bit and pull away a little bit. Step 2, compliment the prospect. Step 3, make the invitation. Step 4, if I, would you, and we're going to go over all these steps. Step 5, make the confirmation. Get the first time commitment out of them. Step 6, confirmation number 2, schedule another time commitment. Step 7, get confirmation number 3 and schedule the next call. And step 8, get off the phone. So step 1, be in a hurry. This is a psychological issue. This is like mental tug of war. People are always attracted to the person who has things going on. If you start every call or face-to-face conversation giving the impression that you're in a hurry, you'll find your invitations will be less shorter. There will be fewer questions, which is key, especially if you're brand new or just getting started or not already making 7 figures in this business. Less resistance, and people will be more respectful of you and your time. So when you're like, oh, I'm in a hurry, then it kind of eliminates the fact that they can ask questions, because once they start asking questions, you can be like, that's a great question, but hey, I'm in a really big hurry. I've got to make a few more phone calls. So let's meet up again, and we're just going to dive right in. So step 1, be in a hurry. Examples for warm market prospects, people you know. So maybe a brother, a sister, a best friend, somebody you work with. Hey, I don't have a lot of time to talk, but it's really important that I reach you. Or it's really important that I stopped by your cubicle to talk to you real quick, whatever. I have a million things going on, but I'm glad I caught you. Hey, I'm running out the door, but I wanted to chat real quick. Examples for cold markets would be, hey, I know right now is not the time and I have to go, or I have to run, but let me get your number, something like that. This is great for somebody, I say the grocery store, because oftentimes you kind of smile at somebody awkwardly in the grocery store. You talk to the person that's checking you out at the grocery store. Maybe you run into somebody on while you're out, out and about with your kids at the park. This is a great time to be like, yeah, this is what I do. Hey, I've got to run, but I would love to, talk to you about this. Get the message, set the tone with some urgency. Don't worry too much about the exact words. Just focus on the concept. Use your own words. It doesn't matter. You can be like, hey, I know we don't have a lot of time to chat right now, but let me grab your number. Hey, I've got to run. I've got my next appointment to get to, but, real quick, let people know you're busy and that you've got a lot going on and that time is short, but it's important that you talk to them real quick. You find it that valuable that you have to talk to them. Place value on it and do it with some passion in your voice. Step 2, compliment the prospect. This is so critical because it kind of fluffs the prospect up and it opens them up to making them like you a little bit more, but also it has to be something that's sincere. If you're like, oh, hey, yeah, like you just seem, if it's somebody that's kind of shy but seems sharp, and you're like, you just seem so outgoing and like somebody I'd really get along with, they're going to be like, okay, I'm not outgoing. So this person clearly doesn't know me, or they're lying. And they don't like that. So you have to make it sincere, and it opens the door to real communication and makes them more agreeable and more comfortable about hearing what you have to say. Examples for warm market prospects. You've been very successful and I've always respected the way you've done business. You've been super supportive of me and I appreciate that so much. That's a great one for family and friends. Or, hey, you have an amazing mind for business and you kind of see things that other people don't see. Or for as long as I've known you, I thought you were the best at what you do. And then examples for cold market prospects, again, somebody that you just meet out living your life, maybe somebody at the pharmacy or, washing your car. You've given me the best service I've ever received. This is a great one for if you go out to eat and have a waiter or waitress or a bartender. Or, hey, you're super sharp. Can I ask you what you do for a living? Or you've made this such a fantastic experience, and then you move on. And the key is that the compliment must be sincere. It has to honestly use the compliment, or find something you can honestly use to compliment your prospect and use it. This simple step will literally double your invitation results, and that's 100% true. I compliment our waiters and waitresses all the time when we go out. When you start with urgency and a compliment, it becomes very difficult for a person to react negatively to your invitation. They really don't have time to process it any other way if you're urgent and you're nice. They don't, and people don't hear compliments very often. It's flattering and it makes them feel good, and your prospects become more receptive and more respectful. And then if you study the pros, they're constantly putting people in a good mood through their honest and sincere compliments. Do you know somebody in your life that's just like constantly always making you feel good? I mean, there are so many people that I can think about, and actually it's funny because Sarah and Sonia Ho, they are just genius at this. And it's so natural for them. It's just the kind of person, but they're the kind of people I like to be around because they actually are constantly complimenting people and putting them in that's the kind of leaders that we all want to be. And it's a great way to add value to other people's lives. So helps to build rapport or relationship, and it helps to open people's minds, and mostly helps to achieve our goal of educating and understanding. Step 3, make the invitation. This is a situation where one does not fit all. Does that make sense? The same invitation for one person does not fit the next. So you have to become very aware of that. So there's 3 different kinds of invitations that professionals use. There's the direct approach, the indirect approach, and the super indirect approach. The direct approach is when you're inviting somebody to learn more about the opportunity for them. So this is somebody that maybe you're talking to a friend and you're like, hey, I know that you haven't really, been doing well with your job, or, hey, I know that you've been struggling financially. I think I found a solution. Most people use this approach for all of their prospects, but for somebody, that's not always going to work the same way. This is, I found a way for you to get rich. Let me tell you all about it, blah, blah, blah. The passion is good, but really, who's going to get excited about that unless they're getting a call from a millionaire? If your friends and family don't know you as a millionaire, they're probably not going to get excited. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It's just that you have to be selective on who you use this with. It should be reserved for people who and respect you, or for people that are searching for something better. So you need influence over them to use this one effectively. So again, maybe you're good friends, maybe not this one for somebody out at the supermarket, something like that. So example for warm market prospects, when you're told, and be screenshotting these, guys. So when you're told you hate your job, were you serious or were you just kidding me? They'll almost always say they were serious. Great. I think I found a way for you to get it, solve the problem, make that happen, make a little bit extra money. I think I found a way for us to really boost our cash flow. When I thought about people who could make an absolute fortune with this business, I thought of you. Or let me ask you a question off the record. If this was a business you could start working part-time from home that could replace your full-time income, would it interest you? I'm going to start breezing through these pretty quick. So this is another powerful tool the indirect approach is a powerful tool to get people past their initial resistance and educate them on what you have to offer. It's about asking the prospect for help, input, or guidance. It's somewhere where if you don't have influence, this is great, because if you don't have influence with somebody being like, oh, hey, I think I found a way for us to make some money, and they're like, you've never had money, so why would I believe you? Learn to play yourself down and play up the prospect's ego. That's basically what we're doing here. So examples for this are, I've started a new business and I'm really nervous. Before I get going, I need to practice on someone really friendly. Would you mind if I practice on you? This is great approach for family and friends. Especially if you're maybe somebody that's younger and your parents are pretty successful. I like this one for those kind of people. If you're somebody that's like in your early 20s and your parents are, already successful 6-figure, earners, and they're like, oh yeah, that pyramid scheme that you got involved in, or that, they don't really see it as a legitimate thing. This is great because you're like, hey, listen, at least let me practice on you. And they're like, oh, of course they're going to support their friend, or their child. I found a business I'm really excited about, but what do I know? You have so much experience. Would you look at it for me if I made it easy on you and let me know what you think, and if I'm making the right move? Of course, they're going to see everything and be blown away and be like, this actually looks pretty good. A friend told me the best thing I could do when starting a business is to have people I respect take a look at it and give me some guidance. Would you be willing to do that for me if I made it simple? So example for cold market, here we go, is that my company's expanding in your area. Would you do me a favor and look at it and let me know what you think? Or excuse me, would you do me a favor and take a look at it and let me know if you think it would work where you live? That's a great one. When you meet someone who might provide good input on your product, you can say, I've started a business with a product I think makes a lot of sense, but I'd love to get your input. Would you be willing to check it out and give me your opinion? People love whenever you kind of like fluff them up, they're like, I would love to give you my opinion. So that's a great one. Super indirect approach. So it's super effective. It's super powerful because it works on just so many different psychological levels. But you tell the prospect they aren't a prospect just and you're interested in finding out if they know somebody else who might be interested. And I've actually done this a few times. Hey, I know you're not interested, but let me tell you a little bit about the product and see if you have anybody that you might know that might be. And then they start thinking about all the people that they know that might need the product, and they're like, wow, you know what I do? And then you can even point it out and be like, well, seems like you actually might know a lot of people that could use this product. Would it be something you might want to check out? So, or you can say something like, for both warm and cold market, you can say the business I'm in isn't for you, but I just want to ask, who do you know that's ambitious, money motivated, and excited about the idea of adding extra cash flow to their lives? Who isn't is a better question. Who do you know that's hit a wall with their business and might be looking for a way to diversify their income? Screenshot this, ladies and gentlemen. This is great. In most cases, they're going to ask you for more info before you give any names. Behind that request will be curiosity and intrigue, thinking this might be for them, but they're not going to admit that to you yet. So just play along. When they ask for more information, you can respond with, that makes more sense. You'll want to know about it a little bit more before you refer some of your contacts. So here's now where we jump into step 4. If I would you, it's by far the most powerful phrase in network marketing. And you guys, I have learned to use this phrase so many different times in business, not even just applying to prospects, but with my own business partners. And they know I'll like laugh and I'm like, if I would you, and they're like, oh my gosh, Heidi. I use it with my family. I use it with friends. Sometimes I do it kind of sneakily without them knowing, but I literally use this all the time. If I gave you a DVD, would you watch it? If I sent you a video, would you watch it? If I sent you some information, would you look over it? If I sent you a website, would you check it out? If I sent you a link, would you click on it to find out some more info? If I gave you a magazine or a brochure, would you read it? If I gave you a link to a website to complete a presentation, would you watch it? If I invited you to an event, would you make it, or would you like to come? Even you can kind of vary this out. I love it. If I sent you the dates for for this weekend, or the times for this weekend, would you be able to make it? It's so powerful for a number of reasons. It's reciprocal. You're saying you will do something if they will do something. So it's kind of like that bartering system. Second, it puts you in the place of power. You're in control. You're not begging. You're not asking for favors. You're simply offering a value of exchange. And you're not having to hunt them again. Third, it implies that you have something of value to offer. You're saying you will do something, but not unless the other person's willing to participate in the exchange as well. When you value what you have, people will respect you, and that's 100% true. So step 4, if I would you. If you use if I would you, you're having a business conversation. If you use I really, 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 really want you, now you're having a desperate distributor conversation. It's not attractive. Remember, our goal is education and understanding. If you started the call with urgency, complimented the prospect, and made the invitation, if I would you, their answer will be yes almost 100% of the time. And once it is, you can now go to step 5. And if it's not, that just means you have to add more value. And that's 100% okay too. Or maybe go, okay, no worries. What would you do? Or, something like that. You can kind of backtrack or just message your upline and find out. So if they ask for more information, just respond, I understand you want more information, but everything you're looking for is on this seed. This is great. If they didn't say yes, here's where you can correct. I understand you want more info, but everything you're looking for is on this link in the mobile app, explained in person. The fast way for you to understand what I'm talking about is for you to come review it. If they say no, then thank them for their time, move on. Move on. Don't try to keep hunting them. They're clearly not interested. So just put them on your follow-up list and go back to them. Review the steps 1 through 3 to see what you might have done better, but do not give the material to them. Otherwise, you're just going to be on a goose chase. Is anybody on this call, and I'm sure we all have, ever sent a video to somebody before asking if I would you, or verifying a time, sent somebody something, and then had to go, did you watch it yet? Did you watch it yet? Hey, da-da-da-da-da. Of course we have. So you've gone through the first 4 steps, and the person said yes. Success. They've agreed to watch your tool. Does that mean they will follow through? Absolutely not. In fact, only 5% of prospects will do what they say they're going to do if you follow the steps. 5% is not a good number. To get closer to 80%, you need to complete the invitation process thoroughly. So I'm going to go back just so you guys can all understand it. So just because you say, if I sent you this video, would you watch it? And they go, yes. That is not still that you still do not want to send the video yet. Still, because we have to finish this process. So confirm the time commitment. If I would you, they've said yes. Next, get the time commitment. When do you think you could watch it? When do you think you could listen? When do you think you could read it? When do you think da-da-da-da-da? okay, and another way to be like, when do you think you would have time? And if they're like, right now, great. Or, okay, do you have time right now? Another way to phrase this is, okay, do you have time right now? Or when's a better time for me to follow up with you? Again, following up is a lot easier than hunting. And then when do you think you could watch the link for sure? And Eric Worre says, when do you think you can watch it for sure, for sure? And I use that all the time. Don't suggest the time for them. Don't say, okay, how about tonight after, the kids go to bed at 8 o'clock? And they're like, yeah, that works. Because of course they're going to say that works, but you want them to come up with the time. This question makes them think about their schedule and their commitment. Find a place to review your tool and communicate back to you. In other words, it makes it real. So when you first ask, if I would you, and they say yes, it was someday. When you get the time commitment, it starts to be real. The only thing that matters is that they gave you a time. It doesn't matter what the time is. So it doesn't matter if they say 4 days from now, hold them to it. About 90% of the time, they're going to give you an answer. The other 10% of the time, they'll say something like, I'll try to do it sometime. If they do that, that's totally fine. Hey, listen, no worries. I don't want to waste your time. Why don't we lock in a time and I'll when you'll have seen it for sure, for sure. Remember, they've already said they would review it. The key is that now they have to say yes twice. So that's what we're going for here. This is how you want to get them to invite. So, hey, no worry, if they're like, yeah, send it to me, send me the video. I'll watch it sometime this afternoon. Okay, no worries. I don't want to bother you is what I like to say. I don't want to bother you, and I want to make sure, and I even tell a white lie, I'm like, and it's a time sensitive link because I have to generate it. I don't want to bother you, and since I have to generate the link, it's time sensitive. So when's a good time for me to follow up with you so that you can watch the link for sure? And then I let them set it. So now it's to get them to say it twice. Now so now you can give them the tool, right? Absolutely not. You're not done yet. Professionals take a few more seconds to complete the next steps. So step 6 is getting that second time commitment. If they say that they're going to watch it Tuesday night, your response should be something. So if I call you Wednesday morning, you'll have seen it for sure, right? Or the same thing, if they say they'll watch it Thursday, if I call you Thursday night, you'll have watched it. If they say by July 1st, so if I called you July 2nd, so I say, okay, so if they're like, okay, you know what, yeah, I should be free around 4:30. I should be leaving work. And I'll just be, at Starbucks grabbing a coffee. I'm like, okay, so if I contact you at 4:30, you'll be at Starbucks. I can send, I can make sure you're good to go then. They're like, yeah, absolutely, cool. So they'll either naturally say yes or they'll adjust the time slightly. Well, yeah, I may not have time. I usually meet a friend for coffee. Okay, no worries. I don't want to rush you, is what I say in that case. The significance of step 6 is that they're now confirmed 3 times, so they're now more likely to follow through. Because now they're really this is great, especially if you have flaky people. I mean, we just know who flakes are going to be. This is great. The key is that this is an appointment you've set. It's an appointment they've set. They've said they've reviewed the materials. They'd say they do it by a specific time, and if you've called them after that, they'll have reviewed it. You ask them questions, their answers made the appointment. So schedule the next call. This is simple. So then what I would do is I would say, okay, hey, and once they told me, I normally do coffee with my friends, so maybe catch me at 5. I'm like, okay, no worries. So then I catch them at 4:35, and I'm like, hey, I know that you said you'd be done with your friend. Just want to confirm one more time before I send the video, are you good to go or should I wait? And they'll usually respond back. And then so this gets to the next step is what's the best time for, and then they're like, yeah, okay, go ahead and send it. I'm like, great. So if I send you this, I can reach out to you right after to make sure you answer questions. They'll give you a time that works best for them. And now you have a real appointment. All you have to do is remember to call when you say you'd call. And that's it. You've just said yes 4 times. The whole invitation took a few minutes, and your chances of achieving your goal of education and understanding has gone from 5 to 80%. So now get off the phone. Remember, you're in a hurry, right? Don't be like, okay, well, don't try to continue catching up with them. Remember, you said you were in a hurry. And I see this a lot. People will be like, okay, I'll send it to you then. So how are the kids? Or how's this going? And then it's like, well, you just said you were in a busy. And it's like people get awkward all of a sudden because they're like, oh, I don't want to seem like I'm just there for business. So they'll like try to continue. But no, you have to get off the phone. Once you've set the appointment, get off the phone. Great. I'll talk to you then. See you soon. Or I'll text you then, or I'll call you then. Too many people make the appointment and then unmake it by talking and talking and talking. Remember, our goal is education, understanding, and to let the tool do the work for you. Remember, in recruiting, there are no good or bad experiences, just learning experiences. So you have to remember that. Every experience in this business is going to help you either improve or see what you need to improve on. On your way to becoming a professional, the best thing that you can do is develop your skills to recruit on demand in any situation. So it takes practice, practice, practice. It's never, don't worry about getting lucky. That's what posers do. The people that are the best in this business at recruiting are the people that have practiced the most. I was super awkward in the beginning. I didn't know how to talk to people. My first few Uber drivers or my first few bartending clients were my people who I kind of practiced on. And then once I was like, whew, okay, I don't know those people. I'll never see them again. Then it didn't feel so bad and I got better and better. And then I started getting contacts. So now it's action time, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time to put all of this to work. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick and let me pull my video up. So I just want to say, you guys, I hope that made a lot of sense for you guys. Let me just make sure. Yeah. Okay, cool. I want to make sure my screen wasn't sharing anymore. When I first started learning this business, and this is all from GoPro. So if you guys haven't watched or listened or read or listened to that book, it's a great tool and it's so applicable no matter what network marketing business you're in, but especially to our business where it says that one's for calling or in person, but I honestly think you can kind of translate it into texting or Facebook Messenger. You can still use the same steps. And that's, if you're having issues with recruiting and you're like, oh, the scripts, maybe these scripts don't work for me or they don't work for you or yada, yada, yada. If you can literally, let me share it one more time. I'm going to share this screen. Sorry. Share screen one more time. That way I can pull it up for all of you guys to take one last screenshot. This is literally what I memorized when I first got started in the business, was this formula right here. So if you haven't already taken a screenshot of that formula, here, I'll fast forward to it so you guys can see it better. Screenshot this and we had something really similar a long time ago in our back office that pretty much was the same way. So I'll probably come up with something just like this. Or you can probably figure it out on your own. I mean, it's pretty simple. Be in a hurry, compliment the prospect, make the invitation using the script, if I would you, and get those time commitments. And you will see a huge benefit in your business. And it's just about practicing and practicing and practicing time and time and time again. So just know that it's not going to be perfect the first time. But now that you know that, you can invite for any event and for any tool using just that formula alone. And so I'm super excited. I'm actually going to go ahead and close this Zoom out now. I'm going to actually pass it back to Mrs. Thornhill and just thank her one more time so much for helping us with this technical stuff and all of the technology. She's just brilliant. And I'm going to actually give it back to her so that she can close it out accordingly. But congratulations, everybody, for hopping on. I mean, you guys are true rock stars. For those of you that are going to be in Dallas this weekend, I can't wait to work with you. We're definitely going to be practicing inviting, and I can't wait to go over skill 3. For those of you in Houston and San Diego, congratulations on your markets. We're all growing the numbers here in all of the markets. So that's exciting. And for those of you in the outside markets, y'all are getting the same exact training. You can apply this anywhere. My biggest piece of advice, I keep getting choked up, is that you just want to utilize